Because she multiplies them, at the top left of my sample space, I'm going to put a multiply sign. Now, it doesn't matter whether you put spinner A at the top or spinner B. For ease, and because I prefer to do it this way, I'm going to put spinner A at the top and then spinner B on the side. What I like to do is put them in consecutive order because this makes more sense. You don't have to, but some of the questions will be harder to answer if you don't do this. And then because she's multiplying them, all we need to do is multiply 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 3 times 3, 3 times 4, etc. So I've done the first row, and now I'm going to do this for the next few rows. And find the probability that the two numbers she gets multiply to 12. So we've got to see, well, which ones in the diagram or in the sample space are equal to 12. There are only 3 options, and there are a total of 16 options altogether, 4 times 4. So the answer is going to be 3 times by 16. Now, I've always reminded you to put the both information in first. So we're going to put that in the middle, 32. And then once we've inputted that data, we can then focus on the 48 and 59. Remember, we've practiced this quite a lot in Edpuzzle and in class. So to get the remaining number in the biology section, what we need to do is 48 minus 32. So that's going to be 16, because these two now add up to give the required 48. And then in this section here, we need these two to add up to give 59. So we do 59 minus 32. Which I believe is going to give you 27. So we've inputted this information, and this information. There are a total of 100 people altogether. So we know that these 3 numbers and this number here needs to add up to 100. So I'm going to add up these 3 numbers to begin with. That's going to be 48 for these 2 numbers, 55, 75. So we know that 100 minus 75 is going to give us the 25. Now the 25 represents those students who do not study biology, chemistry or both. That's the first step. Find the probability that a student chosen at random from M4 will take either biology or chemistry. Now if it says the word either, this is going to be the union probability of A union B. This means it's going to be anything in the 2 sections. Now again, a common error is made here. Either means either one or both. That means one or both. Please make a note of this if you struggle with this typically. So what we're going to do is study everything in the central section of the Venn diagram. So as we've already added these up together, I know it's 75. It's going to be 75 out of 100, and this simplifies to 3/4. I would also make sure you write down the 75 out of 100, because if you don't simplify correctly, you will get some marks for writing 75 over 100. Finally, the probability that students chosen at random from M4 will take biology but not chemistry. I think this one's a little bit easier than A, to be honest, based on what we've done. So we're going to focus on the biology section of the Venn diagram, so set biology, but we're not going to focus on the intersection between biology and chemistry. So it's just this time going to be the 16. So the 16 out of 100, that simplifies to 8 over 50, which finally simplifies down to 4 over 25. I apologise for the lagginess of my computer right now. And the probability that a given student takes biology, they will also take chemistry. So technically there should be a comma here. So given a student takes biology. Now whenever it says a given problem and it's to do with a Venn diagram, you need to change the denominator. This time our denominator is going to be changed so it's just focusing on the biology section. So we need to focus on, well, how many students are studying biology? It is 48, so our denominator becomes 48. So given they've chosen biology, which means we're just focusing on the biology section, will they take chemistry? Well, we know that out of this circle, 32 of the 48 also take chemistry. So the answer is going to be 32 out of 48. These are highly composite numbers, which means they simplify easily. So let's have a go at simplifying this fraction. It becomes 16 over 24. That becomes 8 over 12. That becomes 4 over 6, 2 over 3, I believe. And yes, my quick calculations tell me I'm correct. This means that if you've got all the people who study biology in a room together, 2/3 of them would also study chemistry. So I'm going to have to draw a tree diagram. Adam has 10 sweets in the bag. 5 are cherry, 4 are lemon, and 1 is orange. So I'm going to write a little note here. 5 are cherry, 4 are lemon, 1 is orange. You can write a note of any form you want. Adam chooses a sweet at random from the bag and eats it. So the fact he eats it means he doesn't replace it. So the denominators and the numerators often will be changing. He then takes another sweet. Work out the probability that the 2 sweets will both be cherry. Well, you don't need to draw a tree diagram, but it's the easiest thing to do for this kind of question. So this is how I'm going to draw it. We know that 10 sweets are going to represent the denominator of the first branch, because at event 1 there's 10 sweets altogether. So there are 2 or 3 options actually. For question A, we could draw the diagram like this, and we could write down what's the probability of picking cherry and not cherry, cherry and not cherry. And I'm going to use it for this one, but I'm going to redraw another diagram for part B, or show you another way of doing it without drawing the diagram. So cherry, there are 5 cherry sweets altogether, so there's going to be 5 which are not cherry. This means not cherry. So if we pick one, the denominator will then change to 9. So all these denominators are now going to change to 9, and we're going to have to change the numerators. Like I said, there's a few ways of doing these kind of questions, but this is probably the easiest way. If he eats 1 cherry, the cherries are going to reduce down by 1, and the other sweets are going to stay the same. If he eats one which isn't cherry, the cherries will stay the same. They'll still stay as 5 out of 9, but the non-cherries will reduce from 5 to 4. So you need to do a quick check. Do each of these fractions add up to 1? Yes, these 2 add to 1. These 2 also add to 1. And these 2 also add to 1. Work out the probability that both will be cherry. Well, it's going to be this one times by this one. 5 over 10 times 4 over 9, that's going to give us as 20 over 90, which is 2/9. Part B, work out the probability that 2 sweets have the same flavour. Now, I'm not going to draw a tree diagram for this, but I'm going to write out a full mathematical statement. Probability of cherry and cherry, probability of orange and orange. Well, you can see you can't get to orange, so we're going to ignore that one. Or the probability of lemon and lemon. So we've already worked out the probability of cherry and cherry, that's 2/9. So all we need to do now is work out the probability of lemon and lemon. Now let's picture we've got a diagram, but this time we're going to think about lemon and lemon. Like I said before, if we pick 2 of the same and it's not being replaced, the numerators change by 1, the denominators change by 1. So without drawing, we can work out the pattern. The pattern is going to be 4 over 10 for picking the first lemon, and because then we're going to remove 1 lemon from the bag, and this is going to reduce the overall number by 1, the denominator reduces by 1, and so does the numerator. So we get the following. 4 times 3, 10 times 9, that's 90, and not forgetting we need to include the 2/9 as well. 32 over 90 can simplify to 16 over 45, so that's our answer.